Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class Brawl. Yes, I said Voyager class. This guy is interesting as he's the first Voyager combiner limb that is available, weirdly enough. Now, this guy doesn't really seem too different. He's actually pretty small for a Voyager, obviously, because he's a combiner limb. He's more like a Deluxe Plus, which is something that's been happening a little bit lately. And, well, he continues the trend, but at least he feels good. So, there's that. This is Brawl. He's the only Combaticon I have thus far, but he spurred me to go order the other available too, being Blastoff and Vortex, because if I don't get Vortex, he's probably going to disappear soon. But Brawl came out in an odd wave, which had 3 Voyagers. It had him, Wreck-Gar, and Amalgamus. I do have Amalgamus, who was the other choice for this review. I got him yesterday from Amazon, but I went into the local Walmart today, found him and Amalgamus. I already had him at that point, so there's no buying him. But, yeah, just convenient timing. But Brawl's Brawl, and he's like the most generic Decepticon I can think of. He's a green tank man. He's very blocky and, quite frankly, doesn't have a ton of kibble. The only thing that really says, I'm a tank, is the tank turret and the little bit of tread down on his legs. Other than that, he looks very blocky and generic, and I'm there for it, honestly. Looks pretty solid. The only issue I have is he might need a little bit more paint. Glad to see the paint in the head, though. The orange looks great, and the kind of purple mouth plate looks good. The only real amount of paint, though, is on his forearms here. You have this nice gunmetal and the Decepticon logo on the left. And then down here, we have some painted vents and then some toes, and that's really it. Like, he really doesn't have paint. Like, they just kind of, you know, for a guy that's well over his price, he should only be deluxe priced. He is instead Voyager priced, and like I said, not big. I know I showed Amalgamus. Amalgamus is hunched over, so just keep that in mind. But Amalgamus feels like a Voyager, size-wise. Like, if you look at these two, he's telling me he's a Voyager, I'm like, okay. Telling me he's a Voyager, I'm like, huh? That's how the way I'm going to put it, is it's like he doesn't seem like he should be. Overall design is solid, though. There's a bit of hollowness going on back here, but I'm afraid that is for his combination, as he does combine differently from the last 2 combiners, being Menasor and Superion. It seems him and Swindle turn into the front of the leg. Thank God. That is what I wanted. I'm so happy we're finally getting that. And I'm not sure why this guy really had to go up in price, because nothing's really crazy. They did add a new joint, which is clearly for the combined form, but overall pretty solid. Accessory-wise, it really only comes with 3. It comes with this little pea shooter, which I'm fine with. It's a gun. You know, it's okay. And the other things he comes with are more guns, but they're like these little barrels, which are more of a reference to his G1 toy, I think, when they have like these big turrets. If you fold the turret down, like so, and then plug the guns onto the back, you can have some shoulder cannons, if you care about that. I mean, ultimately, I don't really care at all about these, but sure, why not? Why not give them shoulder cannons? And yes, they can aim up and everything like that. Nothing's really, you know, too crazy, but, you know, it's fine. Now we get to the articulation, which is also fine. We have a ball-jointed head, of course, which has pretty decent range with some tilt and some up and downs. Forward and back, he does at least have a butterfly, which is something. Outward looks ugly. Swivel. Elbow joint, of course, goes exactly 90. No wrist swivel, unfortunately. A swivel at the waist. Forward, back, outward, rotation at the thigh. A very ratcheted knee joint. And, of course, he has a bit of ankle tilt. There we go. So, pretty box standard, except for the butterflies, really. I say that, though, as if most of the other lines I've been collecting as of late haven't all pretty well had butterflies. It's more of a Transformers effect than anything. But yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I wish could change here, but he's going to be compromised. He was always going to be a compromised figure as soon as you attach the fact that he is a Combiner limb. Now, it's not as bad as the old guys, as the Combiner Wars ones, so at least there's that. But let's get into the transformation, which is actually pretty decent. First thing we're going to do is come to the arms and flip down these panels. We're then going to come up here to the chest, flip down his head, flip forward the torso, like so, close the chest down. We're going to come to the arms and fold out these little gray tread pieces, like so. Straighten the arms. And I'm going to rotate the figure at the waist, click the legs together. We are then going to fold these parts out like so. And then, actually, I screwed up pegging the legs together. Unpeg them real quick, and then fold out the treads, which is really satisfying. I really like doing that. It's just super satisfying step. Take the arms, straighten them out, open them so they're like that, so you can get these treads into place here, which everything at the back should lock in. There's a couple tabs on the side of Brawl's abdomen area, which tab into the treads. And then for the arms, you're going to take these joints here, push them up and in, click those into place, then click that little gray part into place. And of course, you're just going to do it again on the other side, like so. And again, click it in place like so. And then take the tread, and you can either move it forward or move it back, however you feel. And here we have Brawl's tank mode, which is pretty good, actually. Not really any flaws to speak of. He's a tank. It's tank. It's kind of hard to screw him up at this point. Hasbro makes so many tanks in a year, it's honestly, I think it has to be impossible to screw up a tank at this point. It really does. Anyway, same ports apply on this one, but just backwards. You can put the big barrels up there, and then if you want to stick the little gun on the side here, you can do that. That's something. But again, this is something I mentioned with the robot. The lack of paint really killing this guy. There's one silver stripe on the chest piece here, which is the front. That's it. That's all. These vents back here didn't get painted. Nothing on the sides got painted. It's just kind of lazy for the price point. I mean, for the size of the tank, it's, you know, it's about deluxe size. It's not massive. It's a very tiny little tank. And it's a bit unfortunate that it's that small because, again, Voyager price point. You didn't add enough here to make me think this deserved it, because there's a bit of extra engineering, sure, but not that much. Realistically, even articulation-wise, they didn't really add much, and it's kind of a shame. As far as it goes, tank mode, just kind of a letdown, just because there's no paint. It's just this olive green and gray, and that's it. The only bit of paint, as I mentioned, is the silver stripe right there. That is it. That is very, very lame. On Hasbro's part, there should have been something painted. Something to make me feel like that $55 Canadian price point was worth it. That's plus tax in my area. I think they're like 44? Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. It's 55. To me, I always consider 41 and 55. That's always been the prices for Deluxe and Voyager in this case, where I live. That's taxes included in price. But it really concludes that alt form. It's fine. There's one more mode we gotta take a look at, which is his limb mode, which you kind of have to do on the way back anyway, so let's just do that. And to get back to the limb form, it's pretty simple. Simply take the arm, undo the arm like so, and then come up here to the treads, open them up, split the legs like so, and then you're going to just fold the tread away. This is probably my most satisfying part of the transformation. It's just the treads. I love that so much. It is so good. Anyway, you're going to want to take the leg, and it has to straighten. So that olive green part has to be straightened up in its entirety, because this square peg has to go into a square hole on the back, which, yes, is not fun to do, because as you can tell, the friction comes from the knee to get it to straighten out. Come on, knee. There we go. And once you've done that, you can just peg it together like so. And then you open up those parts like that. And then on the inside of these sections, there's these little things here that you fold out. You then fold this up. It'll peg into the treads. Fold those in to fill the gap. Very nice on Hasbro's end to include that little detail of closing the gap. Fold down the torso like that. And then for the arms, you are simply going to pull them out as if you're going back to robot mode. Just like that. And if you want, I think you can just leave them. Oh, camera got knocked at some point there. But pretty well, you just kind of finagle with the arms. They don't sit in a certain way, I don't think. They really just turn the shoulder up and then do that, which gives you Brawl's foot form, which it's okay. I mean, it's at least something. It's not just turn it into the alt form and pull it apart like the arm guys or the other guys with Superion, where you do a little bit of folding. So, I mean, you know, at least there's a transformation to it, but God, that's not really much, is it? Anyway, we'll find out more about him at a later date once the other two get announced and everything like that. I sure hope that is soon. I really do. Cannot wait. They got Liege Maximo and all the gang up for pre-order. I was hoping one of them would be in that wave, but no dice. I think it's usually around March we get the Commander class announcements, so I'm going to assume, this is my prediction, June-ish for Onslaught. We'll probably start seeing pictures and stuff in May, if there's not already some out there. But that pretty well concludes Brawl in his entirety. And so let's just get to the final thoughts here. He is certainly a figure of all time. He's good. He's better than the last one. The Combiner Wars one really wasn't that good. It was probably the worst one of the original Bruticus set from Combiner Wars, so at least he can hang his hat on not being the worst Bruticus in the last 10 years. At least he got that going for him. There you go, buddy. But overall, as a whole, he's just okay. He really is. There's not really much more to say about him. Like, he's fine. On his own, he won't disappoint. So he will, honestly. For his price point, he will. As a figure, he's good. It's his price point that really lets him down, because you're not getting anything for the price point. You're getting a little bit of extra engineering in points that don't matter. If the extra engineering, I swear to God, comes from these parts in the feet that flip out to form the Combiner foot, I would be so mad. Genuinely. But this figure doesn't do enough to justify that price point. And Swindle most likely won't either, because he's 100% going to be a Voyager just like Brawl. And it's just kind of a shame that they would even bother to make them Voyagers, because it doesn't justify it. They don't. They will sell themselves. I'm just going to say it. They will sell. Blastoff and Brawl are definitely the ones that sold out first in their wave. That's just how it goes. The Combiner limbs will always sell out first. So they genuinely could put more money into Brawl and he would still sell. I don't know why Hasbro has to bump him up. There was no need. Genuinely no need of it. His size doesn't warrant it. There's not enough here to warrant the price point. So in my opinion, unless you're like me and you really want Bruticus, there's not really a point to get him right away. He's kind of one of those guys that I'd probably wait to have a discount on, if I'm being completely honest with you, because it's just he's too expensive as he is. He shouldn't be a Voyager. I said there's not enough paint to warrant the price point. There's not enough of a lot of things, and well, he is a good figure, and I think the figure as a whole is getting, he's gonna get a, I'm gonna give him a nice 4 out of 5 because I like the figure. It's just the price point, it's not there. It doesn't justify its Voyager price. It really doesn't. It never did. These little piddly cannons don't do anything for me. Genuinely, if they hadn't even included them, who cares? I don't think anyone cares. These are getting thrown right in the accessory bin, never to be seen again. Unless they're important to the Bruticus combination, they're gone. I don't care about them. But that pretty well concludes that. This has been my review of Age of the Primes Brawl. This has been Alt Elite signing out.